Are we wrapped up in the closed session?
Yes, Claudia.
Okay. Well, we have about 10 minutes, so refill your cups with coffee.
And President Atwater, it is your call. The agenda said approximately, so if the board would like to get started a little bit before 10, you have that flexibility. It's up to you.
Okay, I'll let Josh, are we ready to report out a closed session?
Thanks, President Atwater. There's no reportable action out of closed session.
Great. Okay. What we'll do now is we'll move on to agenda item 5, open the session, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Josh, you want to just, no reportable action, so we'll move on to agenda item 7, the consent calendar. And 7A is approve the resolution authorizing virtual board and committee meetings pursuant to AB 361.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Great. Do we have a second? Good. All right. I'll ask Claudia to call the roll. Oops, Claudia, you're muted on my screen.
Gladly.
I caught you that time.
President Atwater,
Yes.
Director Martin,
Yes.
Director Stamera,
Aye.
Director Palmer,
Yes.
Director Martin,
I already voted yes once, so yes again.
oh, I meant Director Millibar, Marty,
Ooh.
Director Millibar, can you hear me?
Oh, he's muted. I can see that.
Yeah. Director Chang is absent, so alternate Director Tincher,
Yes.
and Director Anaptawi.
Yes.
Excellent. Resolution passes.
Great. Just want to ask again, do we have any public comments?
President Atwater, we did get a public comment request from Gia Moreno for item 3 on public comment and also on 8A, but I do not see that she's on the meeting.
Okay.
I did reach out. I do want to point out that I did reach out to her via email to let her know that we did receive her request and that we were in closed session, and that we would be starting approximately about 10 o'clock. So for her to join whenever she was available to.
Okay, well, if she joins, let us know and we'll give her time for public comment. So we'll move on to 8A, and this is the DCA board appointments for Office of President, Vice President, and Secretary. This is every 2 years under our process. At this point in time, I'll turn this over to staff to talk about what our process is.
Thanks, President Atwater. Yeah, so as you mentioned, this item is the biannual officer elections. Wanted to kind of provide a little bit of context and history before we turn it over to the board for discussion. The board will remember that when the JPA was amended at the beginning of 2021, one of the changes was how officers were selected. So you'll remember under the prior JPA, there actually was an exhibit attached to the document which had a set rotation among the members. The revised JPA now gives the board complete discretion to determine who those officers are, and the bylaws have been amended to reflect that. And currently, those officers are President Atwater, of course, Vice President Palmer, and Secretary Millibar. In addition, Catano from Metropolitan Water District serves as our treasurer. The board has a significant amount of discretion to determine who should be those officers, with the exception of the treasurer, and those officers will serve for a 2-year term. For the treasurer, that does need to be a treasurer of one of the member agencies, and we currently contract with Metropolitan for that service. The bylaws, as far as timing, do have that these are 2-year terms on a fiscal year basis, and so the terms ended in the last June, but will continue until a successor is appointed. And the bylaws anticipate that new officers will be elected at the first regular meeting in July. We actually don't have a regular meeting in July, of course. This is a special meeting, but we are treating it like a regular meeting. So we wanted to present this and include it on the agenda for the board to consider whether to appoint officers. Of course, that is just an option. And so, if the board wanted to simply discuss, potential process for appointment and then continue actual appointments to August, you have the discretion to do so. But if you would like to move forward with appointments today, that can be done through a nomination process or through an individual motion. And I'd be happy to assist in any way I can as the board moves through that process. President Atwater, that's all I had for my report, but happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Josh, and I appreciate the help. So I'll open it up to the board members. Are we ready to, and I hope we are, to make nomination for president, vice president, and then secretary?
Might I ask a procedural questions, John Weed?
Sure.
We have alternates. What is the cycle and the date, effective date of the alternates switching their position with the current active?
Yeah, President Atwater, I can answer that question if you'd like.
Please do.
Thank you, Director Weed. So the JPA or bylaws do not actually have a set process for a switch between the director and alternate. And actually each appointing agency or agencies makes that determination on an annual basis as to who will be their director and their alternate director. And we did receive a confirmation from all of the member agencies that the current board, both alternates and both directors and alternate directors, will remain the same for the next fiscal year. But we could see a modification next July.
Okay. I believe ACWD in Zone 7 had some type of a draft statement saying what the cycle would be and how that would switch between the two. So I encourage us to provide that to you. I'll encourage our staff to provide it to you so we have the dates we can put into the.
That'd be very helpful, Director Weed. And we can reach out to staff from both agencies to obtain that. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
President
Tony.
Atwater?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we select Director Palmer this year as our president.
Okay. That's any discussion by anybody else? Anybody have any other suggested candidates for president? I don't see anybody. So you want to vote on that now?
So,
I'm
President
assuming-
Atwater, I think we'd want a second on the motion. And then if there is a second, then we can vote. Apologies.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good point. So do we have a second on the nomination of Director Sarah Palmer?
Well, if nobody else is going to do it, I can second it.
Very good. All right. I'll ask Claudia to call the roll on that.
Gladly. President Atwater,
Yes.
Director Millibar, Director Stromera,
Aye.
Director Palmer,
Yes,
Director Martin,
Yes.
Alternate Director Tincher,
Yes.
and Director Anapdawi.
Yes.
All right, Sarah, congratulations. You are the
Yeah.
president.
Congratulations.
But that doesn't start yet. I mean, I think, Richard, you're still president, right? For
I
now.
don't know. I think technically you're president. I don't know.
No,
Oh,
that's
technically
it.
now, okay. Okay.
You're it. That's it.
Well, if you want to,
Okay.
President
Well,
Palmer.
you know what, my first designation is, since you're already doing it, you can still continue to do the meeting.
all right, I'll do that for you.
Okay.
Nominations for vice president.
President Atwater, I did see a question from Director Martin.
Oh, please do. Hey, Director Martin, you got a question?
Actually, it was not a question. Before we move on to the vice president nomination, I just want to thank President Atwater for his service. I've been very, very happy with the way he's run the meetings, and I'm sure Sarah Palmer will do an equally good job, but I want to thank you, President Atwater, for your leadership during my time on the board, at least. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's all a team effort. We're all working well together as a board.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you, Richard.
Excellent.
I'd like to nominate our secretary as vice president.
And who is that?
That is Director Millibar.
Yes, okay,
Bye.
I'll second that motion.
excellent. All right, we go ahead and call any other nomination for vice president? Seeing none, go ahead and call the vote on that.
All right, President Atwater,
Yes,
Director Millibar, I think he
Raise
may
your
be
hand.
having some audio issues, yeah. Director Palmer,
Yes.
Director Martin,
Yes.
and alternate Director Tincher,
Yes.
and Director Anapdawi.
Yes.
You didn't call me, I'd say aye.
Oh, Director Stromera, sorry.
we're getting
Aye.
through this.
I'm an aye.
Oh,
Okay,
Excellent.
great.
and I would like to nominate Gary Martin for secretary.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any other nomination for secretary? Hearing none, let's go ahead and vote on that.
Excellent. President Atwater,
Yes,
Director Millibar, Director Stromera,
Aye.
Director Palmer,
Aye.
Director Martin,
Yes.
alternate Director Tincher,
Yes.
and Director Anapdawi.
Yes.
Excellent.
well, congratulations to all. We got a great new officers for the coming fiscal year, and I hope lots of good
And
things
Richard,
happen.
I want to add my appreciation for your role as president. It's thank you.
Again, I think it's a team effort, and all the board members, we work really well together, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
President Atwater, I do want to advise or let you know that Gia Moreno is on the meeting,
Uh-huh.
and she was going to provide public comment for item 3 and this item as well, 8A.
You want to do it right now? We can do that before we adjourn.
I would suggest she do her item 3 first, which is not on the agenda, and then go into the agendized item.
Sure, let's do that. Item 3 says general public comment, so go ahead.
Do you want me to start now or?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for the public comment, I had concerns regarding the draft EIR that's coming out and the limitations for access that it has for residents of the Delta. I understand that it's potentially a 15,000 page document, but we have a lot of people that don't have access to the internet or computers or a place other than the public library where they can go to look at it. And so we're getting the members of the SEC, the Stakeholder Engagement Committee, and just general community members are being asked to provide either copies of the draft EIR or access to copies of the draft EIR other than the limited amount that's projected to go out currently. There are also concerns about residents of the Delta, business owners, etc., being able to understand what is in the draft EIR. If there's a summary of it, there's concerns about language limitations or language barriers, because we do have a considerable amount of Spanish speaking and Chinese speaking people in the Delta who are not understanding what this project is about. And then if there is going to be, I know that there's been some public meetings, but right now they're focused on community benefits, which is the least of our worries when it comes to this project, considering how large it is. So since there's no longer a stakeholder engagement committee, my question, I guess, is what is going to be done to provide access to the average Delta resident stakeholder with regard to the draft EIR, and if there's going to be any workshops or anything provided by the DCA to answer questions or explain what is in the draft EIR when it comes out, and also when is it coming out? Thank you.
President Atwater.
Thank you for those public comments. Go ahead, Graham.
President Atwater, would you like me to respond in any way to that, or would you like me not to?
Well, yeah, go ahead and tell you.
President Palmer, sorry, President Palmer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Normally we don't respond to public comment for items that aren't on the agenda, but I think this one is an important informational piece. So Josh, I think that should be all right, shouldn't it?
Yes, it could. Just a very brief response is permitted under the Brown Act. Thank you.
Okay.
So a couple of items there. So first, to clarify that the draft EIR is being released by the Department of Water Resources and not the DCA. So DWR will be leading the public engagement associated with the CEQA process. The DCA is here to support that process by being the the source of all of the engineering and technical information that's included in the EIR. Will be there to support DWR through the CEQA process. But there's a lot of information available on DWR's on the Delta Conveyance Office website. Just about every presentation we give, we provide website information, contact information. So Gia, if you'd like to follow up with Claudia, I'm sure she can refer you back to those websites and points of contact. There will be public workshops and all sorts of information and ways of distributing information. So all that you said is on DWR's mind, and they're, I think, have lots of plans for distributing that information. But any particular comments or desires in terms of information, I'm sure that they would welcome. So I think that's all I wanted to offer, President Palmer.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Gia, did you want to comment on 8A as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. Why don't we continue with the comments on 8A then?
Go ahead.
I have some questions about the officers and the voting. And my concern is that out of all the directors, it doesn't appear to me or to other people that there is anybody representing the interests of the Delta, whether it be the people, the environment, the Delta as a place and a living thing, or just a community. Everybody seems to be from the different water groups in the South, but there doesn't seem to be anybody representing the actual Delta and the people that are going to be having the most impact, and the communities that are going to be dealing with the most impact from this project. I feel that it's very unfair that we don't have a voice on the board of directors that can air our concerns. From my experience in SEC and talking with other people, whether it be from DWR or DCA, that there is a large disconnect between these organizations and the people and businesses of the Delta. There's been a lot of confusion. Some of you haven't even been to the places and locations where you're going to be building these massive intakes and projects, or even knowing the lay of the land. I know that there's access issues to some of the properties that are going to be the proposed locations. So I would, as a resident, stakeholder, lifelong person connected to the Delta, I would really like somebody, at least one of these seats, to have somebody that is a voice for the Delta, instead of it just being an echo chamber of people who's interested in pushing this project through. And it's also like a large concern for the community as a whole, is why we don't have a voice on this board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gia. Do we have any input from that, Josh? Or Brad?
No, we appreciate the comments. I think the joint powers agreement specifies the board members, and that all officers, with the exception of treasurer, need to be board members. And those are those are limited to the participating water agencies.
Right, okay, so thank you. Could you put Claudia, could you put the agenda on the screen?
President Palmer, before we close out this item, I just wanted to note that Katana will remain as the treasurer going forward.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because it said that we were to reappoint her. So do we have to formally go and say something about reappointing, or it's just a given?
It's a given currently based on the contract with Metropolitan. But thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, then what else? We did. So basically, we've covered everything at this point. So. Did you want to finish and adjourn this meeting as your last meeting as President Atwater?
No, you're doing great.
Okay, then let us stand adjourned. It's wonderful to see everybody. And we're now adjourned. Have a good day.
Excellent.
Thank you.